All right, and Chukwudi Okolubaja is here for that newspaper review. Good morning, Chukwudi.
Hello, Victor. Morning. How are you?
Well, I'm good, and you look good too.
You look like a young prince as usual.
Well, I'm young.
You're young, but I don't know about the monarchical edge to your dressing. Hello, my dear.
Chukwudi, good to see you.
Oh, the feeling is mutual. You know it. Not be that one.
All right, let's see what the papers have this morning. We'll begin with the People's Daily. The People's Daily leads with reps pass bill to stop over 60 from contesting election in 2027. The writer Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, others may be affected. Above the lead story, reps probe 8 trillion naira annual loss to tax waiver abuse, and that's on page 2. Beside that, Senate moves to amend the Electoral Act to cut election costs. That's also right here on the People's Daily. And below the picture story this morning is that of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the President of Ghana. Below that, reps move to create Office of Prime Minister. Interesting. Below that, Nigeria Customs to deploy e-currency declaration form to curb money laundering. Salah, NSCDC FCT Command deploys 4,000 personnel. That's on page 7. And finally, from the People's Daily, Tinubu to mark 73rd birthday with prayer at Abuja National Mosque. All right, let's see what the blueprint has. The blueprint leads with a different headline. 2027 is the kicker. No vacancy as Tinubu's second term in office assured. That's credited to Akpabio. Below that, we have economy stabilizing according to Minister. President marks 73rd birthday at National Mosque. 6 citizens continued support. Just below the masthead, we have I am not against Sharia law in Southwest. That's according to Makinde. And above the masthead, we backed down on Kano Salah Doba to avoid bloodshed. That's according to Adu Bayero, and that's on page 7. Looking at some of the stories on the front page of the blueprint this morning, we have Rep's small 60-year age ceiling for presidential governorship aspirants. Make U-turn on immunity for vice presidents, governors, and deputies. Nimasa, that's the kicker of this one. Federal government moves to stop paying war risk insurance premiums. That's on page 21. You want to find out the details. And meningitis spreads to Gombe. 3 die, 30 hospitalized. Finally, from the blueprint this morning, we have River State of Emergency. Solved 90% political problems. Rivers State of Emergency solved 90% political problems, according to Okocha. Victor.
All right. Let me also take off from the Rivers issue, this time credited to the APC, and that's on the leadership. Rivers emergency rule, necessary evil. Of course, that's credited to the APC. And the lead story here reads, stakeholders, oil marketers, seek urgent review of PIA, that's the Petroleum Industry Act, say reforms will address emerging challenges. Want all local sector transactions in Naira. A Naira for crude oil transaction has consequences. That's according to Dapman. All right, and just above the nameplate, Nigeria records 807 meningitis cases, 74 deaths. I don't know which time frame, but that's on page 11 for details. And parliamentary government, 30 other bills pass second reading in reps. That's on page 7. Nikon police sued over third-party insurance is on page 4. And just this last one, money supply records first decline in 2025. You get details of that on page 2. Chukwudi.
Thank you, Victor. River State of Emergency solved 90% of political problems. That's credited to Okocha, you said? I would say...
The one here is credited to APC.
APC, yeah. It's okay. Yeah, you could say that if pipelines started going up, the presidency needed to act fast. Whether the action is procedurally correct or not is a matter for debate. People would always have different stances towards the same issue. The important thing is that at the end of the day, our lawmakers said they backed the president's action. That's all the legality it needs. If you are aggrieved still, you can go to court, as Nigerian politicians are wont to say these days. So to some extent, I agree that that state of emergency declaration solved a lot of problems because things were becoming...
90%?
I don't know about the percentage, the volume of it, but I think you needed to preempt what was going to start happening in the creeks. Remember, we dropped it here, that not all African problems are solved by Supreme Court
Indeed.
verdicts. We said that here. Having said that, the real storm ahead is how do you settle it? Because the things that caused the emergency, they are still there. The divisions are still there. They need to put on their thinking cap to bring these people together. Somebody said, who says Fubara cannot be impeached and all that. They started saber rattling. Maybe the kind of ethnic rivalry that we're seeing there would eventually make Fubara unimpeachable in the African sense. So look for other ways. Yeah, constitutionally, if you have enough numbers, you can impeach him. But then, what about the social cost of it? We warn you about the social cost of your action. Otherwise, irresponsibility may be traced to whatever you're doing. Whatever happens, what we want is the good of the average Rivers person.
And we hope we get there.
We'll get there. Let men just create something for the environment. That means you go beyond yourself and consider the other man. It works.
Now let's look at this, downstream realities. Stakeholders, oil marketers seek urgent review of PIA. The PIA was celebrated a few years ago when it was passed and signed into law as, providing the necessary governance structure for the petroleum industry. And now, the stakeholders are saying there's need to make amends, dot the I's here, cross the T's, tweak here and there to adjust to the present-day realities so as to open up the space for long-term investment.
Well, the specificity that would have enabled us make some accurate guesswork or, delve into it, they are not there. But the question you ask is, how long have we practiced the PIA, operated it rather, for us to begin to pick holes in it? At least give it time to show that it could work. Already, some aspects of it are beginning to show, that things can work here. Look at the kind of price war going on in the downstream sector now. That tells you that laws can work on the African soil. I'd say the African soil because African problems are similar across the continent. That tells you that it is the attitude of men that is responsible for certain things not working. Yesterday I said I didn't quite agree with the former president, Obasanjo, that democracy has not worked in Africa. Democracy as a concept has no problem. Democracy makes it easy for me to pick Victor as the man I want to rule me. Are you going back to the monarchical system? Is that what you want? It is our attitude. The insufficiency of integrity or total lack of it sometimes, that is our problem. So let us be people who wish themselves well so that Providence will wish us well as well.
Indeed. And you made reference to the parliamentary system.
Oh, yeah.
I know that a few months ago, this is championed by the minority leader of the House of Representatives, by the way, and his argument is that it holds government more accountable because every day you can see the British Parliament, you are a member, you are the leader, but you are sitting with Parliament, you pick your team from the Parliament, and every day they are questioning you. The interaction is there every day and it's leading, and that is, by the way, a smaller form of government, costs less to maintain. These were his arguments.
It would be quite unfortunate if we belittle the the acumen of those who are our lawmakers now, if we belittle their intellectual capacity or whatever. But I said just 2 days ago that I remember in 1999 when the chairman of the Senate Committee on the Judiciary and Legal Matters, Mike Ajewo, will come out and he'll say, hey, this man knows. Is it the case now that when our senators step out, when our House of Reps people step out, that the kind of clout you felt in those days, is it still there? Please, I'm not impugning there. I'm just asking questions. You and I believe that broadcasting does not have the quality it had some time back. When the likes of Tokumbo Ajayi would teach me eligible on the air, and I would say, hey, how could she pronounce eligible as eligible? And I go there. And Bola Ige teaches me glamour, and it's not glamour. Who are those who are teaching people now? So it's not about lawmaking only. Life in Nigeria has been on the slide, and it doesn't seem to worry us. Any system would work. Maybe in terms of cost effectiveness, the parliamentary system may be argued above the presidential. But beyond that, it is the attitude of men that makes things work.
All right, many thanks, Chukwudi. If you say things are sliding in Nigeria, the question will be who's responsible for that, and then who's going to fix that problem, because it's across all sectors.
You start fixing from the family. The family unit collapsed. Mom and dad are forever out there saying that they're chasing the means of livelihood for the family. And it doesn't matter how the children are growing up anymore. The family unit starts it all. You don't submit your wife to the teacher or the society to train for you. Of course, at a point in their lives, they're going to take input from the environment. But the first things that happen to a child happen from what mom and dad are doing. Whom are they emulating? It was Reverend George Husani. I said, look, parents should. I told him parents should do well to train their children properly. He said, Chukwudi, are you talking about parents who themselves need training? I didn't know what to say after that.
So many questions. But let's commend the Nigerian Air Force now, because I think that we're quick to condemn them when they, strike and there's a miss.
Yes, it could be collateral damage, could be a mistake.
But this time around, the report is that the Nigerian Air Force, did neutralize scores of terrorists in Borno. So we should applaud them and, of course, give them all the necessary support so that they can continue to do much more, and hoping that security will
we applaud the arrival of the Tucano jets and other helicopter gunships and all that. Equipping matters a lot. And let me say this, our men in uniform are trying. It's just that, as good as you as a broadcaster, it is that mistake you made on Friday that will remember more than the excellence you've been showing all along. That's what's happening in the theater of operation. Let's appreciate what their problems are. But then we're going to say, be more careful.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't think we really criticize them like Yere put it, because we are a bit balanced. We understand the challenges, we understand the terrain, we are a bit balanced when we talk about
not the NTA necessarily. I'm just saying that the media.
Exactly. That was where I was going. When we talk here, when I talk about journalists in Nigeria, for instance, I'm not talking about NTA. It's only on NTA I still hear about cerebrospinal meningitis analyzed by a doctor. People who know. Go to the other stations, they're talking politics. The other aspects of life have died. It's still NTA that balances human livelihood on the air. I'm not saying it because I'm here. You know me.
Talking about cerebral meningitis, maybe we should call those that should take action to begin to speed up action in that regard. The report here says meningitis spreads to Gombe, 3 die, 30 hospitalized. So it means that, we need to just step up and find a way to deal with that before it becomes...
Actually, yeah, quickly, it was not cerebrospinal meningitis I had in mind. It's the stomach problem. That's what NTA discussed. And I said, I don't hear that anymore on other stations. Gastrointestinal diseases. That's it.
No, we talk about everything on the NTA.
Yeah, that's why you're NTA. Yeah. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. And I appreciate you.
Chukwudi, we have to thank you at this point, just so that we could get on with the conversation, and we wish you a great weekend. See you.